Bring you greetings on behalf of Dr. Pace and the people of St. Luke's United Methodist Church, both our Westheimer and our Gethsemane campuses. And standing behind me are people who represent the staff and lay people at the Gethsemane campus, a small portion of a group of people who daily, courageously live out their faith for the sake of the gospel, people who daily give me great courage. And so I want you to welcome them as well, and I want to thank them for being brave. And I know y'all come up, Fowlers, Betty, y'all come up here too. I want you to be with us. As we consider vital, transforming congregations, I want to put before us one question. What if hope had an address? What if, because of the power at work in us, we saw people saved from lives of addiction, anger, abuse, educational frustration, crime, mental health issues, selfishness? What if we saw people's minds and bodies and spirits and relationships restored by creating a community of grace and kinship? A little over 2 years ago, Dr. Pace and I began to feel that we at St. Luke's and St. Luke's Gethsemane needed to focus and to uncover an area that might be a place of missional focus for us, a place of expertise, a place where we could become virtuosos, a place where we could cultivate missional wisdom. And so I pulled together a discernment team of laity from both campuses led by Corky Fowler. And we began to pray about what God might be calling us to. This was a group of people who knew how to dream past obstacles. And we prayed and we discerned, we talked. At the same time, Chicky Fowler was helping me to lead a group of community conversations where we'd gather 10 or 12 people from the business sector, nonprofits, educational institutions, religious organizations, and we began to ask them 3 questions. What are you celebrating in our community? What's challenging you in our community? And if we could give you all the resources possible, what's one thing that you would do to impact our community for the better? You see, what we were seeking to do is to cultivate a kind of cultural intelligence. If you're going to transform your community, you've got to cultivate a kind of a cultural intelligence so that you will know the things, the currents, both positive and negative, that are at work in the community. And so we sought to do so. And the theme continued to emerge in those conversations. This theme of gangs and gang violence. And so I brought those conversations back to the team that Corky led, and we thought about it and prayed about it. We read Tattoos on the Heart, a wonderful book by Father Gregory Boyle from Homeboy Industries in Los Angeles. We visited there, and this team brought back to the executive committee of the church that we thought that St. Luke's United Methodist Church in Houston, Texas, should focus our local ministry on the gang population. And would you believe that that executive committee voted unanimously to engage in this work? We prayed. We discerned, we listened to the community, we listened to the Spirit, and this wonderful work was begun. You know, we thought that we had a gang problem, But what we realized was we really had a church problem. These youth were suffering from a lethal absence of hope. They were suffering from a lethal absence of the church. You see, without the passionate pursuit of these young men and women, without someone to claim them, they would be claimed by someone or something else. And so the gangs began to claim them. And a gang is nothing but a perversion of the witness of the church. A place that claims you, that gives you a name through initiation into a community, that offers you signs and symbols and promises to support and protect. Instead of offering sacraments of new life and grace, something that can heal the wounded heart, instead is offered sacraments of drugs, sex, crime, just to ease the pain of life. A lethal absence of the church. But what if hope had an address? And so we began a wonderful work with these gang members, and wonderful people from our congregation began to engage in that work, one of which is Louis Gammon, someone who was referenced earlier in the conference, and we want to show a video of Louis so that you can meet him.
I find myself as a grandfather figure for some of these young guys. I meet the young guys as they come onto our property and let them know that they are welcome. First, I had to be cleared through background investigation, make sure I am suitable to be associating with these young fellas, 13 to 17 years of age. Now, I had a little problem getting qualified with my fingerprints. I understand that after 70 years of age, you start losing your identification points in your fingerprints. Now, I was a little bit beyond that age, so they assured me that they can identify me from some of my DNA. After you see this development of these fellows coming from the street gang activity, where danger was at every move, someone is trying to control them, and they had made some very poor decisions. And they have now decided that they want to change their lifestyle. And we, with our revision program, we are trying to help them, make them realize they are on friendly grounds and no one is going to harm them, and let them know they are not walking alone.
Amen. The work with juvenile gang members has led us to value even more the working with partners because of the staggering obstacles that threaten our kids. Partners like KIPP Charter School, Legacy Health System, the YMCA have joined our original set of partners like Christian Community Service Center, Youth Advocates, and Revision. KIPP has purchased the abandoned hospital just next door to the Gethsemane campus, and now we are working together with this entire set of partners to have an expanded campus where education, health, recreation, and spiritual needs will be addressed, and that a community of kinship can be created by people who are embracing others in this common work. Our goal, dear friends, is to give hope an address. What if the measure of our greatness was not the size of our annual budget or the size of our congregations, but in our willingness to pursue, welcome, and embrace the stranger, the least, the last, the lost? What if we move past the boundaries of the four walls of our church, believing that though counting things inside the church is important, we began to care more about doing what counts? What if hope had an address? What if we became the picture of hope expressed in Isaiah 58, which says, "If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom will be like the noonday. Then the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy even your needs in parched places and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose waters never fail. Your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. You, the United Methodist Church, will be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to live in." What if hope had an address? What if hope was your address? Amen.
Amen.